So, the market was officially closed for Good Friday. You might think everything was quiet, right? Well, not exactly. Behind the scenes, the money never ever sleeps. As one financial year closed and a new one kicked off, some of India's biggest players were making some absolutely game-changing moves. Let's get you caught up on what you might have missed.
So that's the big question, isn't it? While the markets were dark, who was out there making these massive, multi-crore moves? Believe me, huge capital commitments were being locked in, really setting the stage for the new financial year. We're going to break down exactly who was behind these deals and what it all signals for the future.
All right, first up, let's talk about the mega moves. And when I say mega, I mean it. We're talking about corporations making these enormous long-term bets on the future. These aren't just small trades, these are foundational investments, the kind designed to fuel growth for years and years to come.
And let's start with a number that just makes you stop and stare. Over 10,000 crore rupees. That is the jaw-dropping amount that Maruti Suzuki's board just gave the green light for a new manufacturing plant in Gujarat. This isn't just a minor tweak. This is a plan to add another 250,000 cars to their yearly production. It's an absolutely huge bet on future demand.
Okay, from cars to capital, here's another monumental shift. The Reserve Bank of India has given the go-ahead for Emirates NBD to acquire a majority stake in RBL Bank. Now, what does this mean? It means RBL Bank is now officially going to be reclassified as a foreign bank. That is a massive structural change for a very well-known name in Indian banking.
And believe me, the investment spree did not stop there. We saw it happening all across the board. You had ONGC kicking off its billion-dollar Daman gas project, KNR Construction's landing a major highway contract, Medanta is expanding with a new hospital, heck, even Nestle is dropping 90 crores on a new Maggie line. The common thread here? Everyone is building for the future.
Now, if those big corporate announcements tell us one side of the story, the actions of the people inside those companies, well, that tells us another. So let's take a look at what we call the insider signal by following the moves of company promoters. So before we jump into the names and numbers, let's just quickly get on the same page. What is promoter activity? It's exactly what it sounds like. It's when the founders or the major shareholders of a company buy or sell their own company's stock. And why should you care? Because it's seen as one of the strongest signals of how much they believe in their company's future. It's the ultimate put your money where your mouth is move. And you can see that in action right here. The promoter groups of Bag Films, BCL Industries, and Autham Investment were all actively buying up shares, literally increasing their personal skin in the game. We also saw Eveready's promoters pledging shares, which usually means they're using them as collateral for a loan. But the big trend is crystal clear. The insiders were buying, and that signals some pretty strong confidence from within. Okay, so from individual insiders, let's zoom out to the institutional giants. We're talking about the big banks, the mutual funds, the foreign investors. Their large-scale deals, what we call bulk and block deals, really show us where the so-called smart money is flowing. And on the buy side, some major players were placing some serious bets. I mean, look at this. Kotak Mahindra Bank snapped up a staggering 1.9 crore units of Cube Highways Trust. Meanwhile, you've got BNP Paribas buying heavily into both Bharti Airtel and Hindalco, and Societe Generale taking a pretty significant position in Latent View. These aren't just little nibbles. This is big institutional money making very decisive moves.
But of course, big money flows both ways. It's just as important to see who's selling, right? And the real standout here is Morgan Stanley Asia. They offloaded a huge block of 13.8 lakh shares in Adani Green. This gives us that crucial balance. It shows that while some institutions were piling in, others were taking some profits off the table or moving their money around.
All right, so beyond all the big corporate and institutional chess moves, there were also some key changes that are going to directly affect individual investors and traders. So let's look at the new rules and payouts that you really need to be aware of. For anyone who's into algorithmic trading, April 1st was a big day. SEBI rolled out new rules to tighten things up, and they're focused on two key things. First, all your API-based orders now have to come from a fixed static IP address. And second, every single order that an algorithm generates now needs a unique tag. This is all about bringing more transparency and accountability to the world of high-speed trading.
And finally, let's end with some good news for shareholders of these particular companies. We saw some pretty generous dividends go ex-state, led by a whopping 86 rupees per share from TVS Holdings. And on top of that, investors in IRB Infrastructure and Biogen Pharmachem are about to get some bonus shares. This is capital coming directly back to investors, and you know what? We love to see it.
So, to wrap this all up, it was anything but a quiet holiday week. We saw these massive corporate investments pointing towards future growth, we saw strong votes of confidence from company insiders themselves, and we saw major institutions actively shuffling around huge blocks of shares. All of this was happening just as new trading rules and shareholder payouts kicked in.
And that really leaves us with one big, final question to think about. When you see massive corporate spending and strong insider buying, all happening right at the start of a new financial year, you have to ask yourself, are these the opening shots of a new phase of growth? Is this the market quietly signaling that a new bull run is about to begin? That's the question to ponder as we head into this new quarter.